Well, for the first time in many weeks, Dolton trustees and Mayor Tiffany Henyard held a public meeting together, but not at Village Hall.
A Dolton home that she leased to Mayor Tiffany Henyard has filed eviction papers.
Tiffany Henyard, the mayor of Dolton, Illinois, has become a highly controversial figure, with her leadership marked by legal battles, questionable appointments, and widespread public outrage. While some view her as a strong leader, many others have raised serious concerns about her judgment, competence, and leadership style. The most significant controversy surrounding Henyard began when she appointed Ronald Burge as the new police chief. At first, this decision seemed like a routine move, but it quickly became apparent that Henyard's judgment was far from conventional. Burge's certification with the Illinois Law Enforcement Training and Standards Board was inactive, meaning he was not legally authorized to carry a firearm or perform any police duties, let alone lead the department. This raised serious concerns about Burge's qualifications for the position. Furthermore, Henyard's failure to follow proper procedures by not seeking approval from the village board only intensified the backlash, leading to a prolonged legal battle that is still ongoing. This incident is just one example of the many controversies Henyard has faced since taking office in 2021. Critics have pointed to her reckless spending habits, which included extravagant vacations, lavish dinners, and a Valentine's Day celebration with a private DJ and multiple selfies, as evidence of her disconnection from the financial needs of Dolton. Her critics argue that these actions show a lack of responsibility and concern for the town's financial stability. Henyard's leadership style has also been called into question due to her appointments of individuals with questionable backgrounds. She has been accused of prioritizing loyalty over competence, often surrounding herself with people more focused on consolidating her power than on serving the public. The situation with Burge is only the most recent example of her controversial leadership choices. Despite warnings from legal authorities, Henyard continued to defend her decision, further alienating the public and legal officials. The situation escalated when the village trustees sought a restraining order to block Burge's appointment. Although the initial ruling was in the trustees' favor, the judge overturned the decision, allowing Burge to serve as interim police chief for 30 days. However, the controversy didn't end there. Trustees, backed by a letter from the Illinois Law Enforcement Training and Standards Board, continued to argue that Burge was unfit for the role due to his expired certification, further fueling the debate over Henyard's decision-making. Despite these controversies, Henyard has refused to back down. She recently announced her candidacy for a second term, despite growing public dissatisfaction. In 2021, she secured over 80% of the vote in a decisive win, but it remains to be seen whether she still enjoys that level of support as the public's trust in her leadership continues to decline. Henyard, however, has demonstrated a remarkable ability to persist in the face of chaos, using the controversies surrounding her as a platform to maintain control. Some view this as a testament to her determination, while others see it as a reckless pursuit of personal power. Along with her political controversies, Henyard is now facing significant personal legal troubles that further threaten her reputation. She and her partner, Kamal Woods, are involved in an eviction dispute with their landlord, Janetta H., who is seeking eviction due to unpaid rent dating back to August. Janetta, who was once a friend of Henyard, filed the lawsuit after multiple attempts to serve eviction papers. Henyard allegedly tried to avoid the eviction by changing the locks on the property to prevent maintenance, deepening the negative attention surrounding her. The public's trust in her leadership has been further eroded, as her personal legal struggles raise questions about her competence and judgment. If she cannot manage her personal affairs, many wonder how she can effectively govern Dolton. Henyard's personal and professional lives seem to be colliding, creating an atmosphere of dysfunction in Dolton. Her refusal to step down, her defiance in the face of legal challenges, and the growing list of controversies have left the town at a crossroads. The residents of Dolton are increasingly concerned about the future of their town under her leadership, and Henyard's chances of winning a second term are becoming uncertain. Her tenure as mayor has been marked by political chaos, legal disputes, and personal troubles. As Henyard faces mounting scandals, she remains steadfast in her determination to cling to power, but it remains unclear whether her ability to weather the storm will be enough to secure her re-election. The situation in Dolton is far from over, and the future of Henyard's political career and the future of Dolton hangs in the balance. The financial misconduct surrounding Tiffany Henyard, the mayor of Dolton, Illinois, has cast a dark shadow over her leadership. Earlier this year, subpoenas were issued to both the town and township, where she also serves as the township supervisor, as part of an ongoing investigation into Henyard's alleged misappropriation of public funds. The inquiry is focused on questionable government contracts, lavish personal spending, and extravagant expenditures on events that seem more suited to private citizens than a public official. These revelations have deepened concerns about Henyard's ability to manage taxpayer funds and whether she can effectively fulfill her duties as mayor. As her legal battles intensify and her leadership faces growing scrutiny, Henyard's political future becomes increasingly uncertain. The mounting pressure from both personal and professional scandals has made her grip on power feel more tenuous. The residents of Dolton are at a crossroads, unsure if Henyard can turn things around and regain their trust, or if it's time for a change. The rising claims of financial misconduct reflect a deep betrayal of the public trust Henyard was elected to uphold, and locals are growing increasingly frustrated with what they see as reckless mismanagement of public funds. Many Dolton residents are wondering how their hard-earned tax dollars are being spent, especially when vital community services are being negatively impacted by the town's growing budget deficit. Some vendors have even reported that they haven't been paid for months for services they've already provided, adding to the sense of fiscal mismanagement and fueling public outrage. The widespread perception of Henyard's financial irresponsibility has sparked questions about how a public official could be so reckless with taxpayer money, particularly when the town's future is at risk. Henyard's leadership has become increasingly disconnected from the needs of Dolton's residents as the town grapples with financial difficulties. Instead of addressing the growing concerns of the public, Henyard has focused on defending herself and her actions, further alienating the people she was elected to serve. The public is frustrated by her apparent indifference to the town's needs, and there is a growing belief that Henyard is prioritizing her own interests over the welfare of Dolton. Despite the rising criticism, Henyard has remained defiant, portraying herself as a target of political attacks and refusing to acknowledge the dissatisfaction among the town's people. Her failure to address the community's most pressing issues, such as the ongoing budget deficits, and her refusal to engage with the concerns of Dolton residents have only solidified the belief that her leadership is disorganized and disconnected. Many residents feel betrayed by the person they trusted with the town's future, and they are now questioning her ability to lead effectively. The growing tension has been exacerbated by reports of Henyard's extravagant spending habits, overshadowing any positive accomplishments she might have had in office. Instead of focusing on the needs of the community, the public has become fixated on her controversial financial decisions, which are seen as evidence of her inability to manage the town's resources responsibly. One of the most shocking revelations is the report that Henyard spent an astonishing $443,000 in a single day on Amazon. This revelation has left Dolton residents in disbelief, highlighting the extreme contrast between the mayor's personal indulgences and the town's dire financial situation. At a time when Dolton faces a looming budget deficit of $5 million, the idea that public funds are being used for personal purchases at stores like Target, Walgreens, and Wayfair has infuriated locals. As the financial situation in Dolton worsens, the stakes for residents have never been higher. With each passing day, the situation grows more critical, and Henyard's personal legal troubles only add fuel to the fire. Public demands for accountability are growing louder, and calls for her resignation are becoming more persistent. Yet, Henyard remains defiant, continuing to double down on her leadership role and refusing to step down. She has positioned herself as a victim of political attacks, but her refusal to acknowledge the public's dissatisfaction is only exacerbating the frustration among Dolton residents. Henyard's personal and professional scandals continue to unfold, and the question of whether she will weather the storm and retain her position as mayor is more uncertain than ever. Her increasingly tenuous grip on power has left Dolton at a crossroads, with residents wondering whether the time has come for a change in leadership or if Henyard can somehow redeem herself and regain the public's trust. Her tenure has been marred by controversial decisions, financial misconduct, and personal scandals that have eroded her credibility and ability to lead effectively. With Dolton's financial future hanging in the balance and the public's trust in Henyard rapidly diminishing, it's clear that the town's future is uncertain as long as she remains in office. The situation in Dolton has reached a critical point, and Henyard's inability to address the mounting issues facing the community has made her position increasingly untenable. Despite her deep entrenchment in office, Henyard's support continues to dwindle as legal battles and public scrutiny intensify. The financial crisis in Dolton has only worsened under her leadership, and new revelations about her spending habits and alleged misappropriation of public funds have cast a dark shadow over her time in office. A study conducted by former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot paints a grim picture of Dolton's financial health, showing a general fund balance that fell from nearly $5 million in 2022 to a deficit of $3.65 million by May 2024. This alarming decline has left the community outraged and questioning how the town's finances became so mismanaged. Despite mounting evidence against her, Henyard has steadfastly denied any wrongdoing, dismissing the accusations as part of a political power grab. In a heated 90-minute Facebook Live session, she accused her critics of attempting to undermine her leadership and even hinted at potential legal action. However, her combative tone and refusal to take responsibility have only fueled public anger and skepticism. Many Dolton residents feel she is more focused on defending herself than addressing the town's growing fiscal crisis. Henyard has hinted at launching a podcast to clarify the situation and address the rising accusations against her, but so far, these plans have not materialized. Instead, the public is left with vague, confusing statements and a lack of transparency. Her refusal to provide concrete evidence to support her narrative has deepened the mistrust surrounding her leadership. While Henyard's supporters continue to defend her, portraying her as a misunderstood leader battling a corrupt system, many people are finding it harder to believe this narrative. Her combative rhetoric and refusal to accept accountability are increasingly making it clear that she may be a selfing leader whose actions have directly contributed to Dolton's decline. The lack of hard evidence to back up her claims further erodes the public's faith in her leadership, and it's becoming more apparent that Henyard's time in office is coming to an end. As the town's finances continue to deteriorate, residents are demanding answers, and it seems that Henyard's inability to provide meaningful transparency or solutions will ultimately seal her fate. The political drama in Dolton is far from over, but it's clear that the longer Henyard continues to ignore the concerns of residents and deflect blame, the more precarious her position becomes. The town is on the brink of financial disaster, and Henyard's refusal to confront the issues head-on may be the final straw that leads to her political downfall. The people of Dolton are demanding answers, and it remains to be seen whether Henyard can meet their expectations or if her controversial leadership will ultimately be the catalyst for her fall from power. The question now is whether Henyard is truly the victim of a political conspiracy, as she claims, or whether she is the main cause of the unrest and instability engulfing Dolton. As her leadership continues to unravel, the future of the town remains uncertain, and the people of Dolton are left wondering if Henyard's tenure will ultimately be remembered as a failure, or if she can somehow salvage what remains of her reputation and the town's future.